Hello and welcome to not beating a dead horse, but beating a drunk horse. It is
beating a drunk horse. Here I am. Don't let me behind the wheel of a car, folks. Bad things are gonna happen.
Yes, we are celebrating St. Patrick's Day. Happy Irish Day to everyone. This is an interesting idea in that we both watched a movie together, and if you looked at the title, you already know what it is. But if you haven't somehow, then I guess get ready for a surprise. But we've been drinking a little bit, nothing serious. We're still bringing you great content, just with a little bit less of an edge to it.
Or more of an edge, depending on how you interpret it. I mean, let's be real. Is watching Leprechaun on St. Patrick's Day the most racist we've ever been?
It's definitely the most stereotypical, if nothing else. Like, we're definitely butting heads with some stereotypes, and we apologize. I will say I am like 1/8, 1/16 Irish, though, so it's okay.
Listen here. My grandmother was fresh off the boat. Her mom and her sisters, they were immigrants to here. I'm pretty Irish, but mostly an American dog, so that's fine.
Fuck, my last name's McKinda. What do you want? What do you want? People write it MC all the time. It's M-E, but we'll just pretend. We're all just gonna pretend today. So yeah, we watched Leprechaun together. It was. We'll talk about that in a minute. It was a ride. It was very fun. Like, as spoilers. First and foremost, what are you drinking, Jackson?
I got myself a nice 6-pack of Fat Tire, my favorite beer, my go-to. I don't know if that makes me lame, because I'm not up on my beer scene, but I like it. I'm not much of an IPA guy, and I'm on beer number 5 right now.
Fuck yeah. Meanwhile, I'm drinking a hard cider, specifically an El Chavo, which has been infused with habanero and mango. So it actually has a little bit of a spice to it.
Ooh, Sean's getting spicy.
I am. I'm prepared for just the spiciest takes about 1993's Leprechaun. Yeah,
93? That late? I could have sworn that this would have been like 1991, like the very early 90s.
I'm like 99% sure it is 93.
That's fair. Wow. Where does the time go? I wasn't even born.
Oh my god,
yet.
This was a January movie too. Wait, this was a January movie?
Surely the best movie that came out that January, by far.
Listen, though, it was released January 8th. Like, not end of January. It was released the week after New Year's.
What benefit? I mean, I guess nothing else is coming out that week. I mean, who am I to question the producers of Leprechaun? The movie made like 10 times its budget, and there's like 10 sequels, so clearly it worked out for
They're
them.
doing something right. Scheduling is, I don't think, one of them.
I mean, I have to assume that this movie made most of its money back on the home video market.
Box office was 8.6 million, so...
Oh, that was the box office numbers, not the overall?
Yeah, no,
Damn.
its box office was almost 10 times what its budget was of 900,000.
Okay, I guess people like us must have existed back then, because who, looks at all the movies coming out, all the movies that are playing in the theaters, it's Oscar season, all the prestige movies are out, and they're like, yes, Leprechaun. We're gonna go see Leprechaun. That's what we're gonna do.
Nowhere near St. Patrick's Day. You got 3 months before that. It's Oscar season, as you said. Christmas is just wrapping up, and what I'm thinking of is Warwick Davis as a leprechaun.
Warwick Davis, I love him. He is having the time of his life here. He deserves more respect. He was Willow, and also 2 different characters in Harry Potter. And that was shitty of the people to assume that we wouldn't notice because he was a little person. But he's great, and he's having a grand old time. and he deserves an Oscar for his work in Leprechaun.
Warwick Davis is a national fucking treasure, and this movie, we're gonna dive into more. I think if they added like a minute and a half of some continuity, some filler shots to just kind of do a little bit of establishing, this movie would be on par with like Evil Dead as far as cult horror comedy movies. It's very good. There's just some weird skippage.
It's not always the most well-constructed movie, but this isn't like they tried to make a serious horror movie about a leprechaun. They know precisely what they are doing.
Entirely.
Everyone involved.
And like even then, like it's not even that it's poorly constructed. As I said, there is a minute and a half total that needs to be added. Just like a couple seconds here, a couple seconds there. It's small little adjustments, not huge overarching changes. There's just a couple little things. You just need to add him getting out of the suitcase, not just already out. Like just little things like that.
Continuity is not this movie's strong suit. But that's fine because it features Warwick Davis riding a tricycle around and throwing it at people.
Warwick Davis riding a tricycle is somehow also like the least crazy thing he rides this movie.
He just keeps zooming around.
He does.
He's such a radical dude in this movie.
Really epitomizing the 90s, honestly.
I mean, Rachel Aniston. Even
Jennifer Aniston?
You know what I mean. Jennifer Aniston even says at one point in this movie, "Do you even know what decade it is, Waluigi? It's the 90s, where I'm a strong, independent woman, even though I can't stop complaining about cobwebs."
Oh, man. Oh, my God. Oh, fuck, I just bumped my mic. No, I guess like clearly we really like this movie. But like let's talk a little bit about why we picked it, why we ended up on Leprechaun, other than just the obvious lazy fucking reason for watching Leprechaun.
I mean, what other movie were we gonna talk about on St. Patrick's Day? Some serious, like, Irish drama about the IRA and, like, intense political situations in Ireland and the UK? No, we're here for Warwick Davis, bitch.
Fuck yeah, I mean, come on. So, like, you've had a little bit of encounters with the Leprechaun before, right?
I have. So there are many Leprechaun movies, including, I believe, a reboot with some WWE wrestler who is a little person.
Yeah, I think it came out in like 2014, actually.
And wasn't it like only streamed like on the WWE proprietary channel or something like that?
That I don't know. Actually, oh my God, a Leprechaun Returns movie came out last year.
Last year? Oh, God. So I haven't seen any of that shit. But what I have seen is the movies with the stupidest titles on the planet. Leprechaun in the Hood and Leprechaun Back to the Hood, which I'm sure if we keep this going long enough, we'll talk about eventually.
Yeah, we would like to make this a yearly thing where we watch a different Leprechaun movie every year.
I mean, I think it would be worth it. So, I mean, I gotta say, though, that it's been a while since I've seen the Leprechaun movies because for a second there, I thought I watched them with you, but then I realized it was in high school, so it would have been before I met you. But my sister and I thought they sounded like a scream. So she, I think for my birthday, got me the Leprechaun Back to the Hood and the Leprechaun in the Hood double pack. And those movies, Leprechaun Back to the Hood was pretty entertaining, but Lep in the Hood, mostly not as funny of a concept. I mean, the concept is really funny, like Leprechaun in Gangster Town, but it's not as funny in practice as it is in theory, except for the rap that the Leprechaun does at the end, which is the funniest thing I've ever heard.
What a sentence. Oh my God, Ice-T is in Leprechaun in the Hood?
Ice-T is the main, like, gang leader in Leprechaun in the Hood. He's the one who, like, unleashes it and is, like, a tertiary villain to our hero.
Holy shit.
Yeah. I mean, so those movies, they weren't as funny as I expected them to be. But Leprechaun the original, this is the real shit. It's like, hey, I'm Mark Jones. I am presumably Irish, or if I'm not, I have a lot of Irish stereotypes, and I'm going to think about a horror comedy because I just watched The Evil Dead. It's going to be about a leprechaun. He's going to want his gold, and if they don't give him his fucking gold, he's going to murder everybody. That's a hook. That's a horror comedy. They made it. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's great. It is 100% in the same vein as Evil Dead, and I don't just mean that because it's another horror comedy. I mean that because it cribs about a third of the movie from Evil Dead, just in terms of shot construction and ideas, and like it even has like the scene in it. So, wow, yeah, I really, if you know what Evil Dead is, you know what I'm talking about when I did that. Otherwise, it just sounds like I just grunted at my microphone for 20 seconds.
I mean, so for some context, at one point, the leprechaun gets his hand chopped off. And, like, when I saw that, I was kind of hoping it would be a Dragon Ball Z reference. Ding! I was kind of hoping that he would, like, Piccolo his arm back, like he would regenerate.
That's what I was expecting to happen.
Yeah, but then it turned into the Evil Dead thing where, like, the hand starts crawling around and trying to reunite with its master.
Yep. Like, there are so many little moments in this that are so Evil Dead. There's a shot where one of the guys has a boomstick and, like, points it at the leprechaun, and it's shot, like, honest to God, if you were half paying attention, you could glance at this movie and be forgiven for mistaking that character for being Bruce Campbell. Like, it just looked like a shot of Bruce Campbell holding his boomstick.
And you know what? There are so many movies where they don't just shoot the monster. They don't even think to do it. They don't have a gun. But here, they're taking every opportunity to fill the fucking leprechaun with lead. And I really respect that about the character.
Bunch of green blood all over the place. It's great. It's great. Like, this whole movie is, as I said, like, it's actually really well executed. It's a horror comedy. Like, the horror part doesn't really stick as well in this day and age because a lot of it looks kind of dated. But the comedy elements of it really stand out superbly. It's all, like, practical effects. The prosthetics on the leprechaun are excellent the entire time. The acting is subpar, but, like, what do you want?
Set for Warwick Davis. He's having the time of his life. Hashtag Oscars for Warwick.
Seriously, Warwick is great in this. Warwick is great in everything. Oscars for Warwick. No, absolutely. But, like, it's a solid movie. It's a lot of fun.
I genuinely highly recommend it. And I normally for a movie like this, we'd say, who gives a fuck about spoilers? We're just gonna spoil shit because who cares? But I think that there are things in this movie that are a lot of fun that are more fun if you're not expecting
Yes,
them.
I will actually agree with you. Like, this is one of those that despite being a weird, bad old movie, it's worth it to put the spoilers on. Like, I would put spoilers on, and we are putting spoilers on this, but we didn't on Jurassic World. Like, I just need the understanding here that Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, we said, fuck you, spoilers don't matter. And on this, we're like, no, spoilers are important.
Spoilers are 100% important on Leprechaun. I highly recommend, if you have any inclination at all to this kind of horror comedy, towards like schlock film, get some friends, get some beers, have yourselves a St. Patty's Day celebration. It's St. Patrick's Day
today. Go watch this. Have a good time with it. Like, this is a great Sunday night film. It's only an hour and a half too. Like, that's the other thing, is this is a tidy hour and a half movie.
It goes by so fast. Fast. I wanted it to go forever.
It's perfect. Like, the fact that they're like, nope, hour and a half, and we're going to cut it here. Like, I feel like had it gone longer, it probably would have started to overstay its welcome. But, like, it knew it was like 90 minutes. We hit the mark. We're done.
I will say, and I don't count this as a spoiler because this isn't the kind of spoiler that matters. But when the leprechaun is, finger quotes, defeated, the movie ends. Like, they don't linger on to get some follow-up with the characters and how they're doing. They know what we're here for. The Leprechaun says, "Fuck you, I'll be back," and we know that he will because there's like 6 other Leprechaun movies where he's in space in the hood and shit. And it's exactly what we want, and 90 minutes is perfect for this.
Yeah, and apparently all of them are like 90 minutes. I'm looking at the Wikipedia page; they're all listed at like exactly 90 minutes. So like, mwah, just that's all, just 90-minute movies. It's great.
Consistency, conciseness, cleverness. Your movie needs all these things. Leprechaun has them. Leprechaun's better than Jurassic World.
Well, it is lacking in some consistency because it doesn't have the continuity.
Oh, where's your god now, Leprechaun?
Dunking on 1993. Hell yeah. Do we want to talk about spoilers and stuff like that?
Let's talk about spoilers.
Oh, well, before we do, because we keep forgetting to do this, and I keep going in as editor, Sean. Tuesday, 2 days from the day that this goes out, we're going to be doing our second live recording. We're going to be talking about Nier Automata over at twitch.tv/helpus_Skippy. That's going to be at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come hang out, ask us questions, tell us why we're wrong, yell at us for our interpretations, all that good stuff. If you can't make it, we're going to do the full episode, including the Q&A, is going to be available on the usual Thursday. Otherwise, though, please come hang out. It's going to be a great time. We always have a lot of fun with these live sessions. So
be there or be square.
Spoilers now? Spoilers now.
3, 2, 1. Warwick Davis. He gets a pogo stick, and he jumps on the pogo stick, and he starts hipping and hopping around, and he pogo sticks onto the shopkeeper and skewers him with a pogo stick and cackles, and it's the greatest thing that I've ever seen in all of cinema, and it was so fucking funny.
Clearly, just cutting straight to the most important spoiler right there. Like, that is undeniably the most important spoiler, because that was the greatest and really the only kill that matters in this fucking movie.
I mean, we were screaming with laughter. Like, we saw him get on the pogo stick, and they give you a nice little build up to it too. Like, you see him jump on the pogo stick, and he goes like, ha, woo, and he like jumps on it. You're like, oh god, they're gonna do it. They're actually gonna do it, and then they do. Fuck.
There were a couple of deaths where like we had like really good ideas, like, oh my god, they're gonna bring it into this, and like this is looking like it's gonna be a really good death, and they kind of back out of it. But like the pogo stick one, they just lean into it and they go whole hog, and it is so fucking choice. It's really good. Like the perfect example of one where like we're expecting them to go one way, and they go with like the lamer route, but we're gonna quantify lamer route in a hot second. Because at one point Leprechaun is fucking with a cop, and like they're playing basically hide and seek, and it's great. This whole fucking movie is so good. I cannot do justice to it. But he eventually just drops on him and snaps his neck, and we're like, oh my god, he's gonna rip his head off. Come on, do that. That's gonna be fucking great. And he just snaps his neck, but they immediately fix the situation by having him sit there and bat his head back and forth like a cat, like, haha, this is pretty fun, and it's great.
Oh, it's so good. And like, and it makes up for it later when Rachel Ray has the billy club, has the police baton.
I can't tell if you're fucking around with whether you know that her name is Jennifer Aniston or if you just keep thinking it's Rachel Ray, because you called her Rachel Ray the entire time we watched the movie, and I didn't know who you were talking about until just then when you went, oh, yeah, you know who I'm talking about. So I'm not entirely positive on this one.
I'm mostly fucking around, but I'm also on Beer 5. So Rachel Aniston, she's fleeing. Like the whole like last like 15 minutes or so is just Jennifer Aniston running for her life. And I mean, the Leprechaun can basically do whatever he wants. He just teleports around everywhere for maximum wackiness. And like what? So at one point, to get a sense for, we see Leprechaun riding the tricycle, and it's great. And then right before the pogo stick kill, he throws the tricycle at him, like it runs into him, and he's like, "Oh, where'd this tricycle come from? I got a house full of stuffed animals and pogo sticks, so I guess it's not that weird." Then he goes to keep opening that safe he was doing, and then surprise, Leprechaun's in the safe, even though he threw the tricycle at him. So where is the Leprechaun at any given time? Who cares?
Fuck you.
So, Jennifer Aniston, though, she sees a cop car and she's like, oh, thank God, I'm white, so the police are. This isn't Get Out. This isn't a sad moment when the police car is here. So she runs to the police. She's like,
the racial charge to come out in Leprechaun.
I mean, honestly, this isn't just me like memeing or making a joke or a political statement or whatever. Like, I was legitimately thinking about that scene in Get Out where the cop car comes at the end and it's like an ominous portent and a bait and switch.
Yeah, that's fair actually. I kind of get it the way it was shot, because like we already knew that the cop was dead and it was kind of over the hill in the darkness. Yeah, no, I see it actually.
Yeah, So all that aside, getting that hashtag social commentary in our most racist episode about Leprechaun on St. Patrick's Day. So she goes to the cop car and she's like, "Oh, thank God, officer, help me." And she gets in the car, but she gets in the driver's side. Mm-hmm. So like, why would she do that? Why would she not suspect that something was up? And then she looks and she sees that the cop, oh no, he's deceased. He's been rotting all night. Poor police officer Jimmy. And then she uses the billy club to stab the Leprechaun in the eye, which is metal. And the Leprechaun's like, well, I can't just piccolo my way out of this. So what am I going to do? And he goes over to the cop's body and he grabs his eye and he rips it out and he's like, "Ha-ha, an eye for an eye, lassie." And he puts it in his face and now he's got two eyes again and it is terrific.
We need to stress, however, that him going, "Aha, an eye for an eye, lassie," is not us ad-libbing. That is not us making a joke. That is not us riffing. That is straight up what fucking happened.
That is a nearly direct quote, if not a direct quote.
Yeah. I also actually just kind of want to talk about something that we rag on horror movies for a lot, and actually a lot of movies. In like, we always say like you need to have rules for horror movies. And Leprechaun, I feel like, is the exception to that for us. Because, like, in the beginning, we were very much like, what the fuck is happening? Why is this happening? Where are the rules? What is going on? And then it kind of starts slowly backfilling the rules, weirdly enough, and it retroactively makes the beginning better. But
yeah,
it's still kind of rough. And also, you kind of just need to turn your brain off and have a great time with it.
So that's what I feel like, is that at the beginning, it's not entirely clear that the filmmakers know what they're doing, right? Like, they're establishing this backstory with, like, this old Irish couple, and, like, he's like, "You killed my wife, Leprechaun." Like, "Oh, no, I took his gold, and he wants his gold." All he wants is his gold, man. That's, like, half his dialogue. And so, at the beginning, you're not entirely confident that the filmmakers know what they're doing. But by the time he starts, like, teleporting around and, like, popping out of the safe and pogo sticking on people, you're laughing with the movie and not at it necessarily.
Yeah.
So I think that's the difference, is that this is operating. It's doing the bare minimum to be considered a horror movie. And otherwise, it's more like a Looney Tune. And I feel like that's where the difference lies.
Oh my God, it is though.
Right,
like this whole thing is just a Looney Tunes sketch with blood.
Yeah, and like he just wants his gold. I mean, so here's a major plot.
Back to hang on, we'll come back to your major plot point in 1 second.
Yeah,
like,
go for it.
We've been talking when we were watching the movie that the main character is actually the Leprechaun. Like, he's got a character motivation, he's got a flaw, he's got desires and changes throughout the movie and whatnot. Like, the main character is the fucking Leprechaun. Now, if we translate this into Looney Tunes, he's just Bugs Bunny. Like, this whole thing
you're so
works
right.
because you got the guys with the shotgun, you got Elmer Fudd running around trying to get Bugs Bunny as Bugs Bunny is just doing wacky things, just trying to get back what's his. It's just Looney Tunes.
And even though he's defeated at the end, even though Elmer Fudd finally gets one up on him, he's still like, what are you gonna do, Doc? I'll be back once my magic's more strong.
Yeah! Yeah! Yeah!
Oh god, this is the best live action adaptation of Looney Tunes.
Fuck Space Jam.
Oh no! We're gonna have to talk about Space Jam 2 on this podcast one day.
Oh my god, we are, aren't we?
So this major plot point is that
take me back from my existential dread.
So you have basically Lenny from Of Mice and Men, which is weirdly like a weirdly like ableist moment when there's this kid who literally dresses like an Earthbound character. And he's like, hey, we'll give you surgery, painter guy, so you're not so stupid anymore. And he like believes it. And like he acted like a little bit of a buffoon, but like not to imply that he had any like serious debilitating like disability or something. So it's a really weird subplot because then Jennifer Aniston is like, why'd you tell him that you could fix his brain? And he's like, I know that I can't, but he doesn't. And it's super strange. But that we're gonna play with the cards that were dealt here. And so one of the plot points is that Lenny from Of Mice and Men, they find the Leprechaun's gold at the end of the rainbow, a hilarious
I forgot about the rainbow.
There's so much in this movie that you forget about the hilarious 3-color rainbow. And so they go to the end of the rainbow where there's this shitty
Technicolor rainbow.
Some Wizard of Oz bullshit. And so they go to the end of the rainbow and they find this shitty old truck and they dig around in it and find some gold. And Lenny's like, oh gosh, I know that in the movies you can test the quality of the gold by biting on it. And so then like he bites on it and somehow swallows the gold, and that becomes the stinger. That becomes the last dangling plot thread. Because the obvious answer to this, the Leprechaun just wants his gold, fam. Just tell him where it is and he'll go away. So they do that, and they're like, great, he has his gold, and he's like, ha-ha, hooray! And he counts it, and he's like, fuck. These fucking Elmer Fudds. They have one last piece. They swindled me. Fuck these guys.
It sounds like a fucking slur.
It totally does. So,
oh, please don't let that take off and come back to us.
Oh, we're gonna have started. Well, I'll shoulder the blame for this one. I'm gonna have started the latest alt-right meme of calling people Elmer Fudd.
It's Pepe 2.0, and we're gonna need to find a way to kill someone else's character.
So Leprechaun just wants his fucking gold, fam. What the fuck was I talking about?
I think Lenny's tummy.
Lenny's tummy. So he eats the gold, and that becomes the central tension. And so he's eaten the gold, and the Leprechaun just wants his gold. And that's Lenny's big moment of character development. Is if we're talking about another death that kind of wimps out on us, is that the Leprechaun, he takes Ness, and he shoves his head towards a bear trap that he randomly had, and Ness decided to try and Home Alone his way out of it.
What the fuck was that setup there?
I don't know. Like, was Home Alone out by this point? Were they trying to like capitalize on that?
Listen, fuck Home Alone. Fuck that shit. Like, at one point, the fucking Ness kid just grabs the bear trap that trapped Snake Plissken earlier, and like, just he takes it. He goes to the fucking shed where, oh my god, this movie, if you haven't seen it, we're just gonna make a shit ton of references to other properties that are gonna make no goddamn sense, because he just fucking pops out of it like goddamn Mad Max Fury Road.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh my, he literally takes like a lawnmower and like ties a pitchfork and a bunch of other shit to it and tries to ride Turtle Shiny and Chrome on the Fury Road.
Yeah, it's fucking absurd. So Ness takes this goddamn bear trap that the guy who looks like Kurt Russell from Escape from New York got trapped in. He takes it into the shed and is like, I hope that the fucking leprechaun's not here. He could get me at this point. Not explaining anything that he's doing. He just has a bear trap in a shed sitting in the open. Like, this'll catch up. This'll solve all our problems. What the fuck? Like, that's not even some Home Alone bullshit. That's just stupid.
The kid is presented as being like weirdly precocious. Like he talks about his tax returns or something to Lenny earlier to emphasize like what a dummy Lenny is. Who his
and also
name, I think, is actually,
what a Sheldon this kid is.
Yeah, young Sheldon, the movie. On a side note, what is Lenny's real name? Is it Otis?
Ozzy, I believe.
Ozzy Otis. I knew a guy named Otis, except his name wasn't Otis at all. I changed it to Otis in high school because someone else had called him Otis, and I thought it was funny. And then by the end of our senior year, everyone was calling him Otis, including the teachers.
That's
and it
the
was
most
hilarious.
Jackson thing I have ever fucking heard.
So that's my confession. That's my great sin.
And my apology letter.
Sorry, Otis. He's like a PhD now. He's like studying geckos or some shit. He did fine for himself. We were pals. So, Otis notwithstanding, what am I talking about? So the kid's like weirdly precocious and he sets up this trap, and the point is that the leprechaun, he grabs the kid by the hair, who also looks like Willem Dafoe, because everyone looks like Willem Dafoe at different stages of life in this movie, and it's weird.
It's bizarre. Like, that's not a joke. Everyone in this movie looks like Willem Dafoe at different stages of his life. Like, there's an old cop that looks like old Willem Dafoe. The kid kind of looks like a child Willem Dafoe. The guy who looks like Kurt Russell in Escape from New York in certain lights looks like a 1990s Willem Dafoe. It's bizarre.
So, Leprechaun, he grabs the child Dafoe and he starts like screeching his head towards the bear trap, and you're thinking there, you're like, yes, give me the child bear trap head, Leprechaun. You know you want it. Give in to your anger. You're Emperor Palpatine encouraging Anakin at this point.
Oh yeah.
And then it doesn't happen, but then the child comes back and he has a slingshot that he fires a 4-leaf clover into the leprechaun's mouth, and he turns into like green crystals, and it's funny, so it makes up for it.
Seriously, if you guys have not seen this movie, this sounds absolutely apeshit insane. It makes way more sense in context, weirdly, but also less sense. It's kind of hard to talk about, actually, because like, I mean, it sounds like we're glossing over half of a movie in what you just said, but that whole thing took place in the span of 5 minutes.
Like, what else is there to say about this in the context of being a dead horse other than remember when this wacky thing happened and try to convince people to go see this shit?
I mean, as I said, I could talk about like the shot construction and like the continuity for a little bit here.
You know, you get a couple drinks and Sean, he'll find all your Dutch angles throughout.
Listen, here's the thing. That sounds like a joke, but Sam has we watch bad movies all the time together, and usually we'll have a drink or two. Like we don't go crazy by any means. But you know, we'll have a drink or two, and you know, towards the end of the second drink, Sam is like, Sean, shut the fuck up. I don't care about the fact that last shot was a Dutch angle to the left into a Dutch angle to the right, making a very uncomfortable thing. That means fucking nothing to me. Shut up. Don't watch movies with me when I drink. It's not fun for you.
I had fun, Sean.
I was gonna say, you're like the exception to the rule, though. That's the thing. Because you're like one of the 3 people that finds it hilarious when I go, wait a second, that patch of grass that they're looking for a 4-leaf clover in is clearly just a green light on the ground. No one else gives a shit.
He didn't make any of that up, by the way. And sometimes it's spray painted.
Oh my god, wait, no, I want to talk about that for a second.
Yeah, go for it. I'll let you have this one.
Because they're trying to find a fucking 4-leaf clover, which is inexplicably the leprechaun's one weakness. That's the one thing that can hurt a leprechaun. No idea why.
It's like kryptonite. When the clover planet exploded, all the 4-leaf clovers came to Earth.
Oh, it is though. So they're looking for this fucking 4-leaf clover, and they're at this farmland. It's clearly like fall, early spring, winter, something like that, because the ground is dead. Like, outside of this green patch, everything is brown and nasty, and they're trying to hide it. They're trying so hard, and I give them credit. But, like, you take your eyes 3 pixels off to the left from this green patch, and you can see it. It's all over the place. And this green patch is just clearly spray-painted green with then a green light over it. And they don't hide the green light well at all, because anyone who walks into the shot or like moves around in the shot gets green light reflected off of them, so they all look kind of sickly. It's insane. The fact that this shot just got through and nobody's like, hey, we should adjust the lighting a little bit here. So that when Lenny walks behind everyone, he doesn't just become this giant green orb.
I'd say that the director didn't give a fuck, but he wrote and directed it. Clearly, this was a passion project for this fucker.
And I mean, he gave a fuck. Like, there's enough parts of this movie that are really well executed that he clearly gave a fuck. There's just enough of it that are really badly executed that makes me think, like, this had to be one of his first projects, or, like, a grad school project or something.
It's like everyone in this movie, except for the non-Warwick Davis actors, were like having a good time, and Jennifer Aniston was like, "Oh God, I hope this leads to something. My poor career."
Yeah, Jennifer Aniston's in this fucking movie. I know we've talked about her a little bit, but like, it's buck wild that she's in this fucking movie.
My favorite is that, like, if you look up what, like, the DVD covers and, like, the VHS covers of this movie look like, is that, like, the poster has the Leprechaun featured front and center, but then when Friends got really big, they, like, really played up the fact that Jennifer Aniston was in this movie on the DVD box art. Like, she's more prominent than Leprechaun.
I mean, it makes sense, like, but it's also insane. This whole fucking movie, like, the more you think about it, the crazier it gets.
Like, I just want to think that, like, the director, he just got really drunk one night and, like, went on, like, 23andMe or some shit and found out that he had, like, some, like, deep Irish ancestry. And he was like, what if I made this shitty Leprechaun movie that was a comedy, and I'm going to direct it while I'm drunk as a skunk, and it's going to be hilarious. And then it was.
Listen,
and he succeeded.
I've seen Evil Dead 3 times. I understand how they made it work. I'm going to do that. I'm just going to do that. It'll be great.
We set out to create the most powerful Pokemon in the world, and we succeeded.
Oh, man. Oh, what else is there to talk about with Leprechaun? Because there's a lot to talk about with Leprechaun.
Okay, so the Leprechaun at the beginning... the moment that you know this movie's gonna be great when he tosses an old lady down the stairs.
Yeah.
And so he's like, "Oh, hello, me dearie," and he pushes her down the stairs, so she tumbles and then she dies. And and Shay McCormick, or whatever his name was, he he goes to his wife and like cradles her. It's like, a boo-hoo, my wife. And the Leprechaun's like, hello, I am your wife now, because he can mimic voices. And then he uses the power of his 4-leaf clover kryptonite and seals him in a crate for like 50 years. And the only thing keeping him in is this dead 4-leaf clover.
Yeah, and then inexplicably, like, this crate, this 4-leaf clover, all stays in this house for 10 years. And, like, they just show up with, like, hey, nobody cleaned up this crate, this clover. Like, I know I harp on plot holes all the time. This is dumb. This is dumb, guys.
Also, there's Jennifer Aniston. Her character is like a vegan. No, she's like a vegetarian, and the movie really hates that.
Y'all,
it's like
I came to this fucking movie to have a good time, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm feeling really attacked right now.
It's like a plot point because she's supposed to be like this brat from LA that like is it ever clear if she moved out with her dad because like of money reasons or like they're going on vacation in North Dakota or whatever?
We need to
like,
come back to the dad because the dad doesn't fucking matter. But like we need to talk about that. No, it doesn't. Like at the beginning, it seems like they're all just going on a vacation because she's like, I'm still depressed, and it sounded like she was like talking to her boyfriend at first, and then it turns out it's her dad, which is weird. And then like they never really explain what they're doing, whether this is like a second home or a vacation home or what.
Wait, because I'm depressed. Is the implication that the mom died?
No, right?
I mean, surely not, but like also I can see it.
Yeah, okay. So like I don't think there's no like explicit in-text reference to this mom dying. At least none that we caught. Like the leap to that conclusion is not far-fetched. But I don't know. It's really stupid if like they just kind of casually gloss over that fact.
Yeah, why would she just say I'm still depressed? Like was it her being like a drama queen about having to not be in LA? Because that's the main thing is that like you think that like the reason that they bring up that she's a vegetarian is to try and make her seem like a brat and not from like real America or whatever, eating the meatloaf from the diner.
Yeah. You're looking skinny
like,
there, girl. Eat some meatloaf, will fatten you up.
I mean, Jennifer Aniston's whole character is basically like, women, am I right, boys? Like, elbow.
Yeah, basically, if you take Rachel from like the first few seasons of Friends, I've watched way too much Friends. I am so sorry. I really don't like the show. I just keep watching it because it's acceptable background noise. So like, I actually
don't apologize, Sean. Own it. Feel it in your soul.
I know what I'm talking about with what I'm about to say. She kind of plays like Rachel from the first few seasons of Friends. And I'm wondering if like they looked at her in this and said, hey, that's the character that we're looking for. Come be, Rachel. But like in the first few seasons, she was kind of like played high and mighty, like, oh, I'm, rich and whatnot. But like she gets humbled a lot and like kind of keeps her grounded. In this, she's like, I'm high and mighty and like, I don't eat meat. And like, that's played like it's a terrible thing and it's bizarre.
And not only that, but like even within this context, like you expect kind of like a character development moment where she's like, oh, I'm going to stop making fun of the yokels or whatever. But like, that just never happens. She just has a leprechaun in her life, and then it's fine.
Yeah.
But I guess she's not the real protagonist, Warwick Davis is.
I mean, absolutely. Warwick Davis for protagonist of everything. Warwick Davis for protagonist of Earth.
Warwick Davis should be the next Marvel hero. I don't care which one. Just give him a superhero.
Warwick Davis as Warwick Davis.
You don't need any comic precedent. Warwick Davis just shows up. He goes Super Saiyan. He kills Thanos with his pinky. And then he's the hero of time.
And then
hooray.
he swallows a 4-leaf clover and has like, okay, he's got, after this 4-leaf clover swallow, he gets like this great fake like prosthetic thing going on here. It does, speaking of Willem Dafoe, has some very Green Goblin vibes to it. But like it looks fucking great. But they keep it like really out of focus and really like shaky cameras and everything. And I'm like, no, stop. That's a good prosthetic. What are you hiding?
I mean, this movie unironically looks better than a lot of movies I see today. Like, this movie looks better than fucking Hurricane Heist for sure.
I mean, that boils down to the fact that we're fucking practical effects snobs.
Fair.
Like, it definitely is dated and aged, but like I will agree that a lot of it looks good just because it's practical. Like, it doesn't have an ethereal feel to it.
I will say this definitely isn't like a Troll 2 that's like unwatchable, like dudes in burlap sacks and faces that don't move.
Oh yeah,
like,
they put their effort
himself.
into it.
Yeah.
Like, this is a solid B fucking movie.
I was gonna make a joke about Jerry Seinfeld and couldn't do it because beer. So just pretend I said something clever there.
I was gonna make a joke about Jerry Seinfeld and B-movie, but my body would not let me, acknowledging that this was a terrible idea. My body
and
said
now for
no
the rest.
and stop.
And now for the rest of this podcast, the entire script of B-movie, except it's being read by two fuckboys.
Two white dudes who came up with the great idea of drinking and then recording a podcast. What an original concept. Give us all your money on patreon.com/beating a dead fuck you.
I'm dying. I'm dead. Here's another Jackson meme. When at the beginning, the leprechaun is sealed in a crate. Except he doesn't die? Like the Irish dude at the beginning, the implication is that he has like a heart attack, or later they say a stroke. But he doesn't die, he's just in a nursing home after that. Point being, the leprechaun has fox dye. It looks like the scene in MGS4 where Liquid Ocelot pretends to get the fox dye and have a heart attack, and he jumps up, he's like, neater, never mind, and he runs, but except he doesn't run. But who came and found him, and why didn't they question this crate? The leprechaun can clearly speak. He was waiting for 10 years like Dio under the ocean. I've done it. I filled the quota. I've referenced DBZ. I've referenced JoJo. I've referenced Metal Gear. There it is. Beating a Dead Horse fans. I've done it for you.
The Triforce has been assembled. Thank you very much.
And now you can fulfill your wish of this podcast being wiped off the face of the earth.
I do want to talk about both the dad dude.
We gotta come back to the dad. You're right. Take us on a journey.
Not
Sean.
that dad. I was talking about the dad dude who gets the stroke.
Oh shit. No, yeah. Tell me this one.
Because like as we were talking about, like his power set being bizarre, and like this is where like this is ride or die moment for you, because this is entirely where like the power is just buck fucking wild. It makes no goddamn sense because he's in this crate but can somehow still talk to the dad who is up. It's not a dad. It's this Irish guy. I don't know why I keep calling him a dad. He's just got kind of a dad
because they're
vibe.
old, so presumably they have kids.
Yeah, and like he just kind of has a dad vibe in general.
He looks sort of like a skinnier John Goodman in some shots.
Yeah, he's got a very John Goodman vibe. But like at one point he's like the leprechaun's talking to him despite the fact that he's through a crate and up a floor and like being all like woo magical powers, and like he gives him a heart attack or a stroke or whatever. Like that's the implication, it seems. Which makes no sense at all. Then he blows out the match that he was going to set the whole house on fire with. So, like, whatever. And, like, that's kind of where you have to be like, either, all right, I'm going to watch the rest of this movie because it makes no goddamn sense. Or you're going to be like, this movie makes no goddamn sense. I'm shutting it the fuck off right now. The other thing I want to talk about with this whole thing is why everyone thinks that the answer to killing this leprechaun is fire.
It's true. The first guy tries it, and his wife just died. He's in the heat of the moment. I'll give him a pass. But then, like,
yeah, it makes sense.
But then after they toss the leprechaun down a well after shooting him with PK Cloverleaf, and they throw him in the well, and then they pour some gasoline in there, and then they throw a match down, not understanding what wells are. But like they did the gas, so that's fine. I mean, if the Ohio River can catch on fire, so can this well. If you pour enough gas into it, we've all been there, right, boys? And then it blows up, and then the leprechaun, he's not dead because he's like, I'm gonna wait and regain my power, boyo. See ya in the next one. Just you wait until Banjo Tooie, and then it's over, and great.
So yeah, fire. I don't know. That was a rambling way to say that, yeah, they used fire again. It doesn't make any sense why everyone decides that fire is the weakness of the leprechaun. Like, the four-leaf clover doesn't make a goddamn lick of sense. But, like, that at least gets passed from one person to the next. Because, like, they go find the dude who had a stroke. He didn't die as much as the beginning would have you believe, because it very much looks like he died. And so they're like, he's like, use the 4-leaf clover, Luke. And so they do. But like the fire makes no goddamn sense. Let's talk about the dad though.
Let's talk about the dad, and I have a proposal on the fire though. I have a proposal for the thought process there.
Okay.
The leprechaun is green. You know who else is green?
I swear to God, if you say a fucking grass type Pokemon, I'm gonna like fucking punch you through this mic.
Bulbasaur.
God damn it.
It's super effective. So the dad, obviously the leprechaun, there's so clearly a leprechaun around and everyone keeps making excuses.
This is Jennifer Aniston's dad, by the way.
Yeah, not the heart attack dad, not Fox Die. So Jennifer Aniston's dad, they keep making excuses as to why there wouldn't be a leprechaun around. So the leprechaun like creepily caresses her leg, and she's like, I know what a man caressing my leg feels like, ? So, then the dad's like, it's probably just a possum or some shit, you silly girl.
A possum?
And so then the leprechaun makes some cat noises, and then he's like, oh, it's just a cat. Let me foolishly...
No. We need to clarify something here. The leprechaun makes exactly one cat noise repeatedly.
One stock cat noise. And so then he's like, hey, here, kitty, 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 kitty. And he just like sticks his hand in this tree hole, and then the leprechaun bites him. And then he has to go to the hospital, where the pogo stick scene happens in a random cash for gold coin shop. And then the dad's never seen it again. Presumably he died.
Gone.
Presumably he died from infectious diseases, or he turned into a leprechaun.
Yeah, that was Jackson's theory while we were watching the movies, that the stinger of it is going to be that they kill the leprechaun, but the dad is now the leprechaun. And when in fact this leprechaun bite goes literally nowhere, and we're supposed to forget that the dad ever existed despite being a prominent figure for the first 30 minutes of the film.
It's just to get the dad out of the way so Jennifer Aniston can hang out with a hunky boy who looks like Waluigi, who doesn't actually look like Waluigi, but he was just wearing a like weird purple vest, so I kept calling him that. That's the only
This is the same guy, by the way, that we should clarify looks kind of like a young Willem Dafoe as well as fucking Kurt Russell from Escape from New York. This is the man of many faces.
Whoever this dude was, he was the nexus of all of our interests. He grew up to be Kurt Russell, and then he did some meth and turned into Waluigi, and then he went sober and turned into Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, obviously. All right, I'm on IMDb. Was his name Nathan? Right? Was that Nathan?
Nate. Yeah.
Okay, so his name is Ken Olant, and he has done nothing.
Poor bastard. Not all of us can be Warwick Davis or Jennifer Aniston.
He seems to be like on TV once a year. Like, I'm looking at his thing, because, like, he was on 3 things in 2000, then 1 thing in 2002, 1 thing in 2003.
Is he on Dick Clark's Rockin' New Year's Eve? Is that why he's on once a year?
No. I don't know. This guy, I don't recognize from anything. He just looks like a lot of things.
Maybe he didn't exist at all.
I mean, honestly, that's kind of what this whole movie feels like. You've got Warwick Davis and Jennifer Aniston, and then a bunch of people who all vaguely look like other people, but not quite. Because Ozzy looks like the dude who,
He kind of looks like a boss I used to have.
He looks like Chris Farley.
Yeah, there you go.
That's who I'm trying to think of. Yeah, he kind of looks like Chris Farley. Everyone kind of looks like someone else. And, like, actually, that's a good theme for the whole movie. This is kind of like Evil Dead, but not quite as finessed. Everyone kind of looks like someone else, but not quite as finessed. There's a couple big names, but there are bigger. Is there anything else you want to talk about with this fucking movie?
Watch Leprechaun, please. Don't listen to this podcast. Shut it off. Watch Leprechaun now.
It's been 55 minutes, but you know what? Turn it off.
If you made it this far, seek help. People care about you.
Seek help, but also seek Leprechaun, because it's a very good movie and worth watching.
The best kind of help, Leprechaun.
Oh, so I guess that's been our very original podcast of two white dudes getting drunk and talking about a movie that is inherently related to the holiday that it's around.
We've earned it, Sean. We've earned this hackneyed trope. Have we really? I don't know. But if I assert it strongly enough, maybe it'll become true.
I mean, we've put out like over 70 some episodes, so like I feel like we're entitled to a low-hanging fruit every once in a while.
Yeah.
Like, we had some great discussions about Roma. I think Alita was actually still a pretty constructive conversation about the whole thing. Like,
I mean, this whole past month, we've been on fire. So let's celebrate. Let's talk about how great we are right now. Beating a Dead Horse, the best podcast. Fuck you if you disagree.
And listen, we have not treated ourselves from Alien Month yet, so like this is long overdue, all right? That one took some energy out of us. Oh yeah. All right. So I've been Sean McKinda. You can find me at Twitter on You can find me Misa Jar Jar Binks.
We go through the planet core.
Oh my god, I didn't really realize how racist that was until I heard a white dude saying it.
It's extremely racist, actually.
Holy shit.
Like, I didn't really get it until it came out of my mouth.
Oh, all right. I've been Sean McKinda on Twitter at Sean_McKinda. That's MEKINDA. I clarify that because I mentioned it at the beginning of the podcast. So continuity, I guess. There's your Chekhov's gun.
Pow!
Also,
Dick's out for Sean.
You can find me on my website at isortof.com. I've also been doing a shit ton of writing for 25yearslatersite.com. You can find a bunch of my stuff over there, as well as a bunch of other great people, and we're going to promo them in a couple minutes anyway. But you should definitely go check it out. Like, I've been talking about Preacher, which is a fucking wild show, and I love it very much. I talked about fucking the Curlian Frequency on Netflix, which was a really interesting watch, and I've got more Preacher coming. I've got some video game stuff in the works. I've got another movie that's coming out soon. Actually, it technically came out 2 days ago for you guys, but I'm going to be talking about that. So just keep your eyes peeled.
And I am Jackson J. Keller at Twitter.jacksonjkeller.com. Just kidding. My Twitter is gone. I've been thinking of starting a new one and just following literally nobody, just so I have a place to interact with people and not see retweets and tweets and have my blood pressure go up.
That's not a terrible idea.
Yeah, I've been considering it. But so as at the moment, you can't really find me anywhere, but I thought I'd give a little progress update because 2 weeks ago I said that I'd be writing my entire graduate thesis in 1 week. As some of you with sense probably guessed, that didn't happen. I do have 100 pages though. So I'm gonna be okay. Don't worry about old Uncle Jackson here. He's gonna be just fine. He's got his insurance policy, like the kid in Leprechaun.
Tying it back in, we're all about this here. We're it's all symbolic. It's all symbolic, my friends.
We're extremely clever boys, okay?
And if you'd like to tweet at us about how clever we are, if you just want to see us tweet about things that are coming up, other things, sorts of information, events, all that good stuff, you can do so at BADH_cast on Twitter. It's also a great place to tweet at me if you want to yell at Jackson, because I will pass on all information. I run that account. It sounds like you're going to say something.
I just took a deep breath for no reason at all, and the reason is Beer 5.
All right, Beer 5. Let's give it up for Beer 5.
I was going to say something about that, but then decided against it because I didn't have anything actually clever, and I've just been shouting into a peaking mic this whole time because I can't control myself.
Hell yeah, this is going to be a nightmare to edit because mine has been peaking all the time too, so apologies.
Get fucked.
Yeah, and as always, thanks to Loads of Highway for use of our themes. Like Suicide, alternate take off the album High Octane, Low Expectations. They're a great band. Go check them out. And also, shout out to 25yearslatersite.com for hosting our nonsense. We are so sorry for this episode. But actually, at the same time, I'm not, because this is entirely your brand. Like, it's horror, and it's weird, and it's cult movies. So, like, I hope somebody listened to this and enjoyed it. And, like, if you managed to get all the way through this, please go listen to some of our other stuff. We promise we get into, like, actual good conversation and analysis about, like, death and theme and pacing and shot construction. Like, we're not always this, like, just low-hanging fruit. Like,
you gotta have fun sometimes. You gotta bring the memes every once in a while.
yeah, like we even our Elite episode that we were like, it's gonna be light humor and jokey. I feel like we had like a really interesting conversation about the utilization of gore within the movie adaptation and whatnot. So I think we promise we're actually pretty relatively intelligent when it comes to this stuff, and we don't just yell about Warwick Davis.
Notice me, Warwick Senpai.
And as I said earlier, we're going to be doing a live recording of Nier Automata, which is going to be another episode that I guarantee we're going to be talking about some smart stuff in. I have like 4 pages of notes, and I'm 6 hours into that game. So, like, I have things to say. Don't worry. And, like, I promise they're relatively intelligent and, like, actually related to theme and idea and whatnot. So please come hang out with that. It's going to be at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over at twitch.tv/helpless_skippy. We're going to take Q&A questions at the end, so you can come ask us, like, why are we so bad? And why did we drink and watch Leprechaun together?
We will fight you at the beaches. We will fight you at the Twitch chat. You're the Nazis. We're the British.
Oh, I guess we're just disparaging our audience now. It's okay. Nobody listens to Slugs for podcasts anyway.
I'm just kidding, audience. I love you. Please forgive me, Daddy.
My...
Don't you go into the ground. Don't you go